Did you know that Japanese booster packs are about to go up in price? For the Japanese yen, it is going up from 180 yen to 200 yen. That is about a 10% increase, or roughly 13 cents. If you were to do this for the same pricing that booster packs are, let's just say retail booster packs are around $4 to $5. Let's say $5 times 10%. That would be the equivalent of our booster packs going up 50 cents. Now, the last time this has happened was back in October of 2022, and back then it went up from 165 yen to 180 yen. So it seems to be staggered 10% hikes in the price, and booster boxes will now go from 5,400 yen to 6,000 yen. This is crazy in my opinion, because when I was in Japan, I loved picking up booster boxes for 4,800 yen, 5,400 yen. I don't think there was any booster boxes more expensive than that, besides maybe the specialty sets, not the regular booster boxes, the 10-pack specialty sets like Prismatic or Shiny V-Star. I wonder how this will affect collecting in Japan, because this is a significant increase considering that the yen is somewhat weaker than the dollar right now, even though the dollar is already weak enough. Have you heard and did you know that Ascended Heroes is now delayed? Pokemon has completely botched the release of this set. We're only getting the tech sticker blisters as the only product in this release. Absolutely terrible. And because of this, the Pokemon Company has changed the tournament legality rules for special sets like Ascended Heroes. The concern is that a lot of people are not going to be able to get their hands on product, so that way they're not going to be able to build decks. So some people can, some people can't. So now the trainer blisters, which the ones we're getting are Larry and Erica, were delayed to February 20th. So we're only getting the tech sticker collection, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Maybe we'll get ETBs too, but we don't know. They could delay that too. One thing's for sure is that in their new printing facility, people think that they're rebuilding the whole thing, when in reality, the whole campus has multiple buildings in it. They are building new printing buildings. There's still other areas of the campus that can be utilized. So don't think that this delay means that printing is not good. It just means that they're probably still getting set up, and there's going to be a point where we're going to get tons of product all at once. We'll see if they actually decide to execute this style, because at the end of the day, Pokemon, they only care about themselves and making money. Maybe Pokemon Japan has better ethics, but for the TCG players, I apologize, you will not get Ascended Heroes. But on the plus side, in tournaments, you will get a grace period so you can get some product when that finally releases. Let's take a look at some of the cards. We now have a full look at all the cards that are available. First, I want to take a look at the gold cards. We have Mega Dragonite. It doesn't, the picture obviously does not do it justice. These two gold cards, in my opinion, will eventually dump really, really hard. People are going to like them at first, but then they're going to dump really hard. In my opinion, these are going to be absolute gold mines in the future if you're able to get them at an affordable price, especially in a high grade like a PSA 10, or at this point CGC 10, Pristine 10 would be good, or a Beckett Pristine 10. A Black Label would be amazing. Obviously that's going to cost a lot of money, but long term, these gold cards hold the set's value higher because they're extremely rare to pull. They're literally gold cards. You know, they look absolutely stunning in person. I love the look, and I'll be collecting all the rainbow, all the gold cards. We used to get some of these secret rares from 5-Band Graphics. Now it's AKY CG Works. I think it's a different studio, but still similar artwork. Everybody's favorite. This Pikachu is going crazy. It's very expensive right now. I would wait, but it is a beautiful Pikachu. The art is absolutely amazing. The blur over here in the trees adds so much depth in the card. It feels like you're in the card, and it also has that style of the TCG Pocket cards. And then we have the James Turner Pikachu with the terrestrial crown. Absolutely stunning. This is one of his very few secret illustration rares. I will absolutely be trying to get my hand on this card if I can. I don't really care too much about the Gengar. I hope over time that loses hype and we can get some of these cards at an affordable price. But let's see. Maybe we get some Pokemon fatigue and people go into One Piece and Dragon Ball, which I'll get to next. Pokemon is one thing, but boy, Dragon Ball, there's been some crazy buyouts happening.
Dragon Ball Super TCG going to make a comeback. So just a quick recap on what the Dragon Ball TCG is. It's split into two branches, Masters and Fusion World. Masters was the original version that started in 2017, and Fusion World is the beginner-friendly version that started in 2024. Now for this analysis, I'm going to use the revenue data generated by each IP as a rough proxy to how the value of the cards will perform. The data is from 2009 to 2024, with 2025 data still being a forecast. The yellow line is Dragon Ball, the blue line is One Piece, which we'll talk about more later. So I want you to remember one thing from this video, it's the importance of anime content for IPs such as Dragon Ball and One Piece. So in the early 2000s, Dragon Ball was relatively flat, as the last airing of the anime was Dragon Ball GT that happened in 1996 and 1997. But if we look at the main meat of the chart, y'all see this period 2013 to 2018. So what happened during this period?
That's right, you monkeys!
Hello, monkeys!
Dragon Ball had a triumphant return to the anime scene with brand new content which continued the original storyline. So the main anime aired from 2015 to 2018 with a whole bunch of movies happening in between as well. And along 2017 over here is when the card game released. And right after the anime ended, between 2018 to 2023 was kind of like a stagnant period where there were a couple of movies being released, but nothing too fantastic to be honest. But the fact that the sales generated from the IP did not drop is very telling of the strength of the IP. Fun fact, we all see this massive bono over here. That's the actual 40th anniversary of Dragon Ball. And it was also when the final anime work of Dragon Ball's creator Akira Toriyama aired before he passed away. So what's happening for Dragon Ball this year? It's actually the 40th anniversary of the anime, and it was announced that the latest arc in the story will finally be getting an anime adaptation. Now if I do some very quick rough math on my head, we could expect maybe a 2 to 3 year anime run again. So based on that alone, don't be too surprised if Dragon Ball cards fall back into the meta again. Now, obviously there are a lot of other factors involved, such as the state of the competitive play, which I'm incredibly unfamiliar with. So if anyone who's knowledgeable about it, do let me know.
So unfortunately, what I heard about the state of the competitive play was that it was really hyped before COVID around 2019, 2018. It was really hype. I had a lot of my friends get into the TCG then, and then, you know, things kind of fell off. I don't think the TCG is as active as it was then. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments for Dragon Ball popping off. One thing's for sure, the cards definitely are, but naturally, over time, these cards were built and designed to attain this value because a god rare and a secret rare in these booster boxes is impossible to hit. Almost impossible to hit. You'll get a dime a dozen. Especially a god rare. I think you have to open maybe 3 or 4 cases before you get a god rare. So they're very, very rare cards out there, Dragon Ball related, that were very undervalued. Looking at them in hindsight, I should have picked some up, but they were very undervalued. I think this is just the market readjusting, but it could also be a pump and dump. A lot of people have been saying Dragon Ball right now could be just a pump and dump. There's no TCG fan base behind all the hype. Did you know that you could set up a machine similar to this and sort all your bulk automatically? Check this genius invention out.
But I think I sing it again. She had all night long. Let me see that.
So this is definitely very cool. I don't know if it damages the card. If you could see here, it kind of like curves the card. The card gets a little curved. But again, it's bulk. You might not be worried too much about the bulk. But definitely a very cool idea. I think the next level up of this idea is to have some type of AI which can sort the bulk but also pre-build the decks. So that way some TCG shops could have the ability to pre-build some fan favorite decks and be able to sell those as a package. Have you heard of this collector, Flareon Core HQ. This guy only collects Flareon.
I own over 100 graded slabs of Flareon, 3 out of 64. This card means everything to me. Along the way, I've fallen in love with the Pokemon community, watching creators, attending conventions, and building a collection that truly stands apart. In a hobby where so many collections look the same, my goal is to inspire new, creative ways to collect. I believe that's what makes the content better, the community stronger, and just more fun.
So this is definitely an approach to take. The content driving anybody's idea of coming into the space right now. You could just be a single fan or collector of a certain type of Pokemon, and that could be your niche. People try to overcomplicate content and try to come up with something crazy. Quality comes with time. Starting out, you definitely could come up with more simple ideas to drive followers. It all works based on your hooks and keep fans sticking around through the whole video. So this was definitely a good example of that. The hook was, he's a Flareon collector. He is probably the #1 Flareon collector in the world, but that there's a lot of evolution collectors out there. So you'll see a lot of these people, but I love this because a certain fan of a certain Pokemon could be their niche, and if they are selling as a vendor, you know, their whole theme could be around that certain Pokemon, like a Mew or Mewtwo, Jirachi. That could be very, very cool. I know a lot of these people will start coming out because a lot of collectors of one type of Pokemon exist out there, and this is why some of these buyouts seem unnatural, but it could very much be somebody who is building a themed collection of only this Pokemon, and that's why you see some of these happening across the board, and they seem to be happening at the same time, but it's fans coming in and finding out what they like. Because at the end of the day, that's the important thing in this hobby is, what do you like? You can invest, you can collect, you could play the TCG, but at the end of the day, you gotta have fun with it. You gotta collect what you like. Some vendors I speak to, they're like trying to sell for crazy money and not actually capitalizing on their passion. And that's kind of the problem with the hobby right now, is that money is the focus. Money is only there to give value to things when you are trying to trade for your favorite cards. Plain and simple. Money, investing over time, all that stuff is really more for the sealed product. For slabs specifically, you should really not be looking at these as an investment. You are collecting your favorite cards. And if it goes up, that's just a plus for you. That's just a plus for you if you can pick out a card that is low population, maybe signed, or a tournament promo, something like that. Those are the, I guess, collectible slabs. But the normal everyday artworks, maybe for the out of print sets, those might be collectible, but they're definitely going to be very, very, very volatile. Sealed is the way to go if you're not willing to deal with all that volatility. Slabs for short-term moves, or to continue building your PC, you trade off all the things you don't want and acquire the stuff that you do. So, speaking of vendors, did you know about the girls' pricing? Yeah, there's something psychological about how girls do math.
These are girl cards. So I'm going to show you guys the psychology and how to maximize your margins on your girl cards. So let's check out this Chinchino first. Now, market price on this thing is like $7. But wait, girls like even numbers. So what does that mean we're going to sticker it at? That's
$8.
right, $10.
Oh.
Now, what about $8? You
Wait.
might ask. Wrong.
Wait, why would you do $8?
Not all even numbers are equally even. $10 is way easier to calculate than $8. So really, you're just saving them time by cutting out the difficult math. Now, what about Piplup, you might ask? This card's $5. So by this logic, we'd price it at $6. No! If we sticker this at $6...
Wait, what?
The girls
Wait, what?
will ask to do $5.
Oh, okay. They'll talk it down, okay.
Because in girl math, $5 is actually an even number. If you think about it, 5 times 2 equals 10. 5 is basically even. Don't
Wait, what? How did that 5 times 2? But wouldn't 5 be divided by 2? Yo,
We're
how
gonna
does
avoid
girl
that
math
whole awkward
work,
discussion.
man?
We stickered at $8. But ladies, stop getting ripped off at these card shows. It's not fair that you guys get taxed. I mean, that's not gonna stop me from shooting my shot though. But don't be afraid to ask to look at the card and search up the value on TCG Play.
I kind of respect that he's giving this juice out. I guess that's actually pretty crazy. If vendors actually do this, that's kind of crazy. I've always stickered at market or maybe a little bit above market to compensate for shipping that you would have to pay normally, but like that not to the point where it's that much higher. But you know what? Cute cards, regardless, girls or guys. I'd fall for this too. I'd fall for this. This sounds like the type of math I'd be doing. Not gonna lie. Especially to get those cute cards. To be honest with you, yeah, you always have to have a budget. But sometimes, if I'm looking for a cute card, I'm going in guns blazing. Wallet wide open. Give me all the cute cards. Did you know that somebody created a fake Vivet or Vivette brand, which Kai Cenat owns, and scammed fans of over $100,000? Yes.
Damn, gang, you see, right when I thought Kai had one, with sold out dates first night, it was all a scam. That's tough. Now, this say someone scammed Kai Cenat fans after making a fake Vivette website and selling fake merch, making over $100,000. That's tough. This just goes to show you that nobody is safe from nothing, gang. Hey, we thought bro's about to drop his clothes. I really thought they was sold out. But nah, it was all a scam.
Yep, I saw this. I was like, good for him. He sold out. I didn't check out the website in depth because I wasn't interested in buying anything. But he was still in the process of building all these designs. It was very quick to come out, and it kind of looks like Kanye West's website, so it was a little bit fishy. Thousands of people were scammed based on this fake website, and the official site is vivetteofficial.com, but the fake site was vivettegallery.com. Always, always, always make sure, especially if you're buying something like this, that the official account is tweeting about it. But I say this, but then Logan Paul has tweeted from his official account promoting certain scam coins. And I'm not saying Kai Cenat was involved in this, but all I'm saying is we have a trend of influencers who their way of extracting cash out of their fans is setting up scams like this and then saying, "Oh, it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it." This website was up for a while. I'm sure Kai heard about it and attempted to take it down. Some of this stuff should be a lot quicker than that, considering how big he is. So all of these were fake. They did appear like okay designs. Like I wanted to actually come back here and consider looking at them, but they were all fake. They looked kind of cool, but they were all fake. We have a vendor rant. Let's see what this vendor is complaining about. Check it out.
I'm about to go on another one of my vendor rants. Last weekend I was at a show. This guy picked out 3 cards. They were $20. He asked, "Hey, can I do 15 on it?" No, you can't do 15 on it. Maybe back 6 or 7 months ago, yes, you could definitely do stuff like that. Vendors were paying at a low enough percentage where that was possible. But now there's so many vendors out there that the amount that vendors pay has gone up higher and higher and higher, which is fine. I'm not complaining about that. But what that means is we can't give you 15, 20% off of every card ever. Now, I know there's already people typing with their little thumbs. I'm a vendor and I give people 20, 30.
So if you're this type of vendor, God bless you. Story time. I vended at a table this past weekend, and I had somebody come up to me, picked out a bunch of cards, inspected them, and then he said, "I'll price them out for you." So he uses an app. I'm actually unfamiliar with this app because I usually use TCG Player, but he used a different app. And then the total came out to around $40. And he said, "Well, listen, they're beat up, So I can pay you $27. So I don't know what the percentage of that is, but I'm the vendor and you're offering me below the market price, which you already priced them at heavily played when they're really lightly played. I did notice that. But then he's like, oh, I'll be honest with you, bro. I'm just going to throw these up on Whatnot and dollar stardom. So you're coming to me to get inventory for your Whatnot stream, even though these guys get insane amounts of money on Whatnot because bids go crazy. Depending on how big you are, bids do get crazy on Whatnot. If you're small starting out, they're not as crazy. You might be losing money. But for big guys, they get crazy bids. So this guy is making probably another 50% on top of me, on top of the discount he's asking. And the audacity to be like looking through everything and not disclosing that he's going to be offering 60 or 70% off the bat. It just felt weird. He priced everything out and then it came to $40 and he's like, "Oh, I'll pay you $28." I was like, "Listen, I can give you a small discount, $35, but even at $35, I'm giving away vintage hollow bulk that he put as damage, but it wasn't, it was a little bit exaggerated, obviously."
50% off, whatever. No, you don't. You don't, and you don't, and if you believe that, you're stupid. If they are giving you 20-30% off of a $10, $12 single, that means they just screwed over the person before you that sold them the cards. Now listen up. I'm going to spill the realest about the Pokemon community right now that everyone just has to understand. Vendors aren't the bad guys and buyers aren't the good guys, because here's the reality. Listen real close to my words. Every mother is a vendor, and if they're not a vendor today, they're going to be a vendor tomorrow. And hey, I mean this. If you're one of those vendors that doesn't like my content, that's totally fine. You don't got to agree with me. But I think every vendor can agree on this.
Listen, it's one thing to be fair, but a lot of pricing that you're not involving when you're dealing with a vendor is the table fees, the time, effort, and energy it took to set up, to travel there. A lot of people just live close to the venue, but some people are coming, on a plane or driving from. I had a vendor this last weekend. He was coming from Boston. So there's a lot of finances involved than just offering you a discount off of market. Vending is fun. If you're collecting and would like to be a vendor, give it a try so you could see the vending side of things. He's right. Everybody starts out as a normal buyer and then they collect enough where they want to become a vendor. So if they're not a vendor today, they'll be a vendor tomorrow. If you rented a table, then the unspoken rule is that you buy at a discount in order to continue your business. If you're a table, you're a business, or you're a big collector, moving slabs, moving inventory. Did you know that you can get extended cases for your slabs, which extend the artwork? Check this out. This is for One Piece, but you can get these for any artwork out there. That is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. If you are going to do this, send me a pic, post a pic in the comments, because these are amazing. I never really believed in these types of cases, but they're starting to grow on me. The graded guards are starting to grow on me. Yes, but not the limited edition super expensive ones. That's bullshit. That's crazy bullshit. But custom guards like this, these are nice.